What's good, everyone? It's your boy Nazi with another video for the channel. Welcome back to DMV Sports Zone. And no, I am not recording a post-game reaction to this game. We are having this reaction live on the DMV Sports Zone channel with two of the other content creators, Evan and Abdullah. Guys, there's not going to be real structure to this. But I guess the first 5 minutes each could we discuss our thoughts on the game. And yeah, so we'll start with Abdullah.
This defense is so bad that you can't even put words into it. Like, coming into the season, everyone was saying top 5, even top 3, but arguably this could be like the worst defense in the league. I'm not even trying to like make it as if, though. It is really, really bad. That Cowboys defense last year, everyone was making fun of that. It's looking like us right now. The defense just blows your mind when you see a Cordell Patterson, an NFL veteran, having a hat trick just in coverage wide open. Chase Young with just not wrapping up on a fourth down, a crucial play. Just all around, there's just so many holes right now. Dustin Hopkins missing 2 extra points. Like, it blows your mind. And at the end of the day, they still come out with the win. And this team never fails to give you a heart attack at least 3 times a game. That's my thoughts on it.
Okay.
My thoughts are, y'all know this game was crazy if we doing a live reaction to it. That's number one. Number two, I can't help but notice there are a couple things, like 2 things, and it really should have been 3, but I'm going to get to that later. 2 things that I said in the preview video that aged very well today. Number one, no matter how bad the score looks, the game ain't over. Because remember, the Falcons have a reputation for choking. Sure enough, 10-0 lead. It looked like they were in control of this game. And then the turning point, in my opinion, was the fumble by DeAndre Carter that was overturned. And they said he was down. And then notice we scored on that drive. We scored our first touchdown on that drive. That's number one. And then the second thing that I said was gonna age pretty well. Oh my goodness! Second thing that aged well off my preview was that everything that's been said about how bad Washington's defense is, that also applies to Atlanta, because once we got to the second quarter, really before that, the Falcons could not stop this team. Like, they could not stop Antonio Gibson. They had no answer for J.D. McKissic. They had absolutely no answer for Terry McLaurin. And honestly, they're just lucky Logan Thomas got hurt. And so that's all the good stuff. And the defense, there is a lot to work on. And hopefully we can get Benjamin St. Juste back next week. But got to give credit where credit is due. The defense needed to stop late in that fourth quarter after the failed 2-point conversion, and they got it. So they came up they haven't been doing that too often, but they came up big when they needed to. And then, yeah, the player of the game is a toss up for me between J.D. McKissic and Terry McLaurin. But let's talk about DeAndre Carter now. Let's talk about DeAndre Carter. And this was right after Atlanta had a touchdown to take the lead going back into halftime. I kept saying that Washington was going to get the ball first to start the second half, and I was confident because I knew I saw in that first half the Falcons had no answer for anything Taylor threw at them. Sure enough, first play of the second.
To be fair, we didn't have any answers.
Yeah, to be fair, yeah, but second half, just DeAndre Carter takes a kick like about 2-3 yards in the end zone and just gone. And when you look back at it, he didn't even make too many moves either. He didn't even make too many moves. He just made like one cut, found a hole, and the rest he was just gone. And then after that, he had his first catch of the season on the last drive, for a first down. So yeah, a lot of things that we needed to work on. Oh snap! I almost forgot the one thing that almost aged well. Because Chase Young, I said he was going to have his first sack of the season in this game. He didn't get it, but he should have.
Technically, yes. Yeah.
That roughing the passer, that wasn't no penalty. That wasn't a penalty. Chase hit him square in the pad. That was a sack. And it should have been counted. But anyway, that's about my takes. This was a must-win game. This was a game we needed to win, and we did.
Yep. My on that play specifically, one of my former work supervisors, who isn't a Washington football team fan, he lives in DC, but is a Raiders fan. He instantly messaged me about that play and was like, "The ref screwed us over." So I mean, that tells you all you need to know about that play. And Chase Young, you should have got a sack. But yeah, so guys, I write up notes. I don't know if you guys can see for the post game reaction because I got to do you guys right every single week. I don't even know where to start. I guess I'll say this first because I did put on this jersey right before the stream. Evan saw it. I did put it on. It's a Terry McLaurin Redskins jersey, right? And I'm putting it on because Terry McLaurin, we still don't appreciate him enough. 6 receptions, 123 yards, 2 touchdowns. That last touchdown. Okay, that was a good amount of Taylor Heineke magic. I'll give you that.
Yeah,
but Terry McLaurin.
Let's talk about that play that went from sack to touchdown in 0.2 seconds.
Yeah. I mean, again, crazy game. But I will say this: I agree with Abdullah. The defense is trash. It is absolute trash. I said this on Twitter during the first half, and the second half did not give me much hope. This defense is trash. This game, a lot of people thought. Not me, really me. A lot of people thought this was going to be the get-right game for this defense. Was this the get-right game for this defense, guys?
It was the
giving up 30 points against the Atlanta Falcons when their 2 best options are Calvin Ridley and Kyle Pitts, but pretty much nothing outside of that. Maybe Cordero Patterson, who's played pretty well to start the season. I mean, I do have him in my fantasy league. Did have him on my bench though, so he did not get any points this week. But I know Abdullah did the same thing.
Yeah.
But no, our defense is trash, and I agree with Abdullah. It's one of the worst in the league right now in terms of performance. Talent-wise, obviously it's not, but in terms of performance thus far to start the season, I don't think there's been a defense that's given up more points than our defense thus far. And if there is, we're definitely top 5 in terms of points allowed. But DeAndre Carter, Evan mentioned him. If you guys go and check our video history on this channel, the video with the largest amount of views on this channel is a DeAndre Carter video from training camp. We highlighted him basically for his receiving chops. But throughout the offseason, all of us, and really even throughout the regular season to start, all of us have very much appreciated DeAndre Carter when it comes to his kick return abilities and thought he was amazing at it. I mean, arguably the best kick – not even – I'm going to stop with the arguably. The best kick returner that we've had since Brandon Banks. I mean, if we're going to be honest, he returned a kick return for a touchdown to start the second half, and that really swayed the momentum, in my opinion. And the offense was clicking for most of the game. Taylor Heineke was sailing a lot of balls, which he continues to do, which is why I don't think he's the answer at the quarterback position for us. But he used his legs, his mobility, used it more than last week. I think the coaches really got to him during the course of the week. But no, I think the offense did well. The defense is still trash. Which is kind of crazy to think because you thought it would be the opposite going to the season, right? You thought the defense would be the one that would carry us to wins, while the offense maybe might not be the worst in the league like it has been in previous years, but would be pretty bad. And it's the exact opposite. Another thing that I wanted to mention. My gosh, what was that missed? There were 4 missed tackles.
The refs were just the
refs. We'll get to that.
We're talking about
that Mike Davis touchdown.
The missed tackles in the red zone. Yeah, that was brutal.
Evan, they threw it to him 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. John Bostic, of course, John freaking Bostic, who I said last week should have been cut from this team over the course of the work week, has not still. John Bostic missed the first tackle. Then Kendall Fuller missed another tackle. Then I think it was Bobby McCain, yes, who missed another tackle. Led Mike Davis to get a touchdown. And that was a big – I mean, honestly, I don't know. Who knows what would have happened after that if our offense didn't click on that next drive. But the last thing I wanted to mention, right, before my 5 minutes are up, the refs. You guys know we're the content creators on the stream right now, and everybody knows in the chat. I'm not the kind of guy who every single week blames the refs. Obviously, the refs miss a lot of calls every single week. But at the end of the day, there are 32 teams in this league. The refs miss a lot of calls for a lot of teams in this league. Maybe a little bit more for a few teams. But it is what it is. It comes to the territory of playing in the NFL. I'm not one of the people who just continue to bash refs every single week. I see it on Twitter. I'm not one of those people. This week, the blame is deservedly there for the refs. What was that penalty on Chase Young? Evan mentioned it earlier.
And note how they called it like 2 minutes after the play was over.
Absolutely insane.
Like
it should have been
originally there was no call. Matter of fact, originally the call on the field was interception. Originally the call on the field was interception, no flag.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. That was a big, and then to see the defense obviously give up a touchdown right after that, like that was just a huge pain in the neck, that drive. But yeah, the refs definitely deserve a lot of blame. I'm happy we pulled out the W. Like I said over Twitter, a win is a win, especially when it's a must win. We needed it. But this upcoming stretch, I mean, the Saints look beatable. We'll get to this later, but the Saints look beatable.
We'll get to this upcoming stretch. There's a lot to
disastrous. I know, but this upcoming stretch looks disastrous. Okay, let's just talk now, since we each gave our 5 minutes. Right. I don't know what you guys want to talk about. Evan, go first.
It's funny we mentioned Jon Bostic just now, because I got a serious question. Jon Bostic went out of the game at around the 7-minute mark of the fourth quarter. Did Atlanta even cross midfield after that?
I don't think so.
Like, genuinely curious. Did the Falcons ever cross midfield after Jon Bostic went out? Well, aside from the last drive where Washington was in prevent the whole time, did the Falcons cross midfield between the time Jon Bostic went out and the last drive when Washington was in prevent the whole time?
Yeah. Samuel comment here. I'm not sure that next week is the get right game. Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara, one of the best weapons in this league.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's the get right game, but I'm gonna be honest. If we can find a way to win that game and be 3-2 when the Chiefs come in here, we might be in good hands.
That's a lot of might be's and ifs. I don't know.
It's always hypotheticals for this team.
I mean, it really is, but that's every football season.
Yeah.
That's every football season. So from here, basically, it's get Antonio Gibson healthy, get Benjamin St. Juste healthy, and then see where it takes us.
Evan brought up a good point indirectly. The injuries. They started to pile up in this game. That's a lot of injuries. The biggest one obviously was Logan Thomas, which you guys touched on, and that's a big loss if you can't go next week. Hopefully you can. But I mean, Matt Ioannidis went down for a bit. Obviously, Benjamin St. Juste before the game. Who else? Who else am I missing?
Brandon Sheriff got hurt.
Brandon Sheriff. Yep. I think he should be good to go though. I don't know. He was
standing
and he's 320 pounds, so I feel like
Brandon. But I'm not sure if it's impressive on our part or just horrendously bad on Atlanta's part that Brandon Scherf went out and it did not slow down our offense.
That is a great point.
It's almost like he never left the field.
Antonio Gibson. I mean, he was off and on the field with I think it was an injury to start the game. I forgot what part, but he was off the field. McKissick got carries, Patterson got carries. Then Gibson came back, but then he got that he was hit hard by that defensive back for the Falcons, and that ultimately led Gibson to go off the field. I think that's why McKissick was on that play. One of the reasons. It was a third down, so McKissick is their third down back. But that was one of the reasons why he was, on that drive, right? He was getting so many reps because Gibson went down with the injury. I'm a little worried there with the rushing game. We need that. We need at least Gibson to be there next week, against the Saints defense, which they did lose today, but the Saints defense is still pretty good. So I don't know.
I think one person we're not talking about enough.
Like 30 points to the Giants, though. So it's like, with New Orleans, I'm not gonna say they're bad. I'm also not gonna say they're good. It's just the Saints are very inconsistent.
Yeah, that's fair.
So it's like I'm looking at next week's game, and I exaggerate nothing when I say it's 50-50. Like, we could easily win that game, but we could also easily lose. It depends on which Saints team wants to show up.
Wow. And
there's one more thing we didn't mention.
Mm-hmm.
The Washington football team didn't give up a touchdown on the opening drive.
They were stopped at the 7-yard line on third and goal. So, I mean, this close to giving up a touchdown. But yeah, I agree with you. That was something.
But I think the guy that we're just not talking about enough is the stud from ODU playing in front of his home crowd. That first touchdown throw to Terry was so beautiful. Just in spite of the
a little bit
defense
too
playing,
much air on that one, though.
yeah, that was true.
Like,
But
yeah.
it was just, it's Terry, so you gotta appreciate it. But in spite of this, the defense like just not giving him any help at all, playing from behind, he still delivers. He had some risky throws, a lot of plays where she got intercepted a couple of times by that safety from the Falcons. I think it was number 23. But yeah, a couple of times. But the guy, he plays his heart out every week, uses his legs, has that one busted play to J.D. McKissic. I don't think if that was that was
a great play.
It was just all around. Taylor Heineke, the magic is still there. I just want to see the defense help this man out.
Yeah. Again, like, this is the exact opposite that we thought going into the season. Like, the defense, there were some people who thought, like, the defense would be top 5, I think most of us, like 90%, even more than most, 90% of this fan base thought that this defense would at least be top half of the league, right? Like the bare top half with all the talented guys, the defensive coaches. Right now, it's the worst, if not bottom 5 in terms of the league right now. But yeah, I agree with you. Taylor Heineke, the magic is still there. But I wouldn't say this was one of his best games because of the fact before that drive that J.D. McKissic play, which was absolutely insane. He looked to his left, like there were 3 receivers on his left. He looked to the middle, he looked to the right, and then he looked for the check down guy that was all the way on the other side of the field, threw it to him. J.D. McKissic did the rest. But I think Taylor Heineke, I said this on a tweet, was playing way too dangerous today. A lot of potential interceptions. I think a lot of potential interceptions or sure thing interceptions when we're playing some of the better defenses in the league and not the Atlanta Falcons coming up. But yeah, I don't know. He needs to play. It's kind of hard with him because, like, you appreciate his gunslinger mentality when it comes to these great plays right down the field. He's pushing the ball down the field. I think he's still a much better player than Alex Smith was for us last year. But at the same time, a lot of potential picks, a lot of balls that were thrown too high, which is his problem. I think that's his number one problem, throwing balls way too high. We saw that on the potential touchdown to Ricky Seals-Jones. Or not potential touchdown, potential 2-point conversion to Ricky Seals-Jones. And a couple of times, it, again, almost got interceptions on those passes. So I think he needs to be a little bit more careful. I think Ron Rivera and the offensive staff is going to, pound that into his skull over the next week. But, yeah, I agree with you. Taylor Heineke was, again, not one of his best games, but he did enough to win us the game for sure.
I'm noticing a difference in how Taylor played today versus how he played last week. Because honestly, if you ask me, last week he felt like he got wrapped up in this. Oh, I have to be the hero. Like It's Buffalo. Like I have to. Every play has to go for 20 yards. Like he was looking too much for the big play and not enough for like the underneath. And that's really what the Bills were giving him the whole game. But now Atlanta, he comes in Atlanta and he just starts playing a lot more loose, if you ask me. Like he played a lot more loose today. Not necessarily like he thought it was like lower stakes or anything like that, but it's just he saw a defense he thought he could beat. And then that's another name we haven't talked about enough today. Ricky Seals-Jones. And like the game he had today, especially in the absence of Logan Thomas, Ricky Seals-Jones was one of the biggest reasons that we pulled out the win.
He did have some costly drops, though.
I was about to say that might be the first time I disagree with Evan tonight or today. I don't know what time it is. Yeah, he did. I agree with Abdullah. There were a couple of costly drops. Even the broadcasters were like, if Logan Thomas was there, and I agree with them. Logan Thomas was there. He could have definitely made some of the catches that Ricky Seals-Jones did not make on crucial plays, crucial conversions, third downs, and stuff. But I agree with you, Ricky Seals-Jones. A lot of us, including myself, I'm going to admit it, did not really understand why Ricky Seals-Jones was kept on the roster going into the season. But obviously he had that made that great touchdown catch, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, and then had that great rack play. I think it was for a first down. Yeah, for a first down. So I think he showed us why he's a number 2 tight end. But if he's our number 1 tight end and Logan Thomas is down for a period of time, I think that's that's definitely problematic.
Yeah. And I think I'm officially done with Dustin Hopkins. I've given this man so many chances, but 2 extra points, missing that. It's just I want to move on from the guy.
We would have started off talking about that if this team did not win.
If the team lost,
1,000%. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, go ahead, Evan. Did you have a point or?
Yeah, because I was gonna say about Dustin Hopkins, like, and Nadia, I believe we were talking about this right before we went live. How you thought that J.D. McKissick should have like stopped down at the
Yeah.
1 yard line
Yeah.
to keep the clock moving, and I was like, I actually see why he might have tried to go in the end zone, because at the end of the day, like, putting the ball at the 1 yard line would have left the game up to Dustin Hopkins, and then this is the same guy that had on the day missed 2 extra points. So I feel like we were just better off trying to seal it up right then and there.
All right, hear me out, guys. We had a good, as Evan said, we had a good discussion about this like right before we went live. I think that J.D. McKissick, obviously, I appreciate the touchdown run. That was absolutely amazing. I mean, to have Antonio Gibson's touchdown run last week, right, and then to have J.D. McKissick's run this week, like the diving for the end zone for the pylon, like,
man.
I definitely appreciate that. I mean, I think they get it from Taylor Heinicke, if we're going to be honest. But I personally think J.D. McKissick, the smartest play would have been for him to stop at the 1 yard line, right? Not go out of bounds, but slide on the 1 yard line. We see this with teams across the league, honestly, and even in college football. Stop at the 1 yard line, right? Run down the clock. We had 2 timeouts at that point, so we could have still tried to run the ball for the touchdown, right? We could have still tried to do that maybe a couple of times. Or if those attempts did not succeed, we were at the 1 yard line. I'm sorry. I trust Dustin Hopkins to make a field goal kick from the 1 yard line. Okay. Maybe that might be a hot take, but I don't. Again, Dustin Hopkins, 45 yards or greater, a miss, almost automatic miss for me. Almost automatic. Let me say 47, 48 yards, almost automatic miss. Kind of like the opposite of Justin Tucker. But there are very few Justin Tuckers in this league, right? He's arguably the best kicker of all time.
There are none.
Yeah, but
there's none besides Justin Tucker.
I think the Broncos kicker is pretty good though. Brandon McManus, I think.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. He's been good.
Yeah, but he does play in that thin air all the time. So.
That is true. But yeah, I don't know. I think the smartest play would have been for him to slide on the 1 yard line, run down the clock, because I was worried. 33 seconds with I think it was 1 timeout left at that point for the Atlanta Falcons. I know for us, we would not have been able to score anything, right? But Matt Ryan, they even showed the graphic, 40 game-winning touchdown, field goal, I think touchdown and field goal drives throughout his career. I mean, he was slinging the ball all over the field today. I think he had 4 touchdowns. Of course, like our secondary was just piss poor against Matt Ryan and the Falcons. But I personally think he should have slid on the 1 yard line, run down the clock some more, maybe even tried a couple touchdown runs again, because we had 2 timeouts. People forget that we had 2 timeouts. It wasn't 0 timeouts, 2 timeouts. And if they did not, the worst push comes to shove, if they did not succeed, you kick the field goal.
And this was the type of stuff we would do when we had Kirk Cousins at QB and the defense was terrible. I remember in 2016 when we played the Eagles, Chris Thompson had that touchdown run. Everyone was saying for him to get down, and eventually we won because of the defense. The same thing happened here. It's just when it has to come to that, it's unbelievable. You got to have faith in your defense, and so far they haven't given us a reason to have faith in them.
As someone in Chicago, I don't know about this take, Tone. Eddie Pinheiro for the Bears. I don't know about that.
All right, y'all. We ain't down that bad. We still 2-2, y'all.
Yeah,
I promise we not down that bad. Eddie
but just the way we win, it's just so frustrating. Yeah. It makes it so difficult.
I mean, yeah, but it's like the way I see it, not tomorrow. Next week's game is going to be frustrating for like one of 5 reasons. Like, because either A, because the Saints just randomly revert to week 1 form, B, because we revert to week 3 form, or C, just some other random nonsense. Because honestly, I don't know what to expect from the Saints at this point.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Super consistent team down there, I guess, in New Orleans.
Are we going to talk about your boy William Jackson?
That one touchdown to start the game. William Jackson III definitely deserves a lot of blame. He was backing up to nobody. There was literally nobody. I mean, I get maybe if the receiver turned to the right, like made a hard cut, went to the right, he would have been ready. William Jackson III would have been ready. But at that point, man, like he just left him wide open. Cordero Patterson for that touchdown. William Jackson III did not play well today. To be honest, though, I think this was his first like bad game. While
this was
Kendall
his first
Fuller, on the
bad
other
game.
hand,
That's what I'm thinking.
Kendall Fuller, on the other hand, since that hot 5 or 6 game streak to start last season after that injury, if you guys remember, he was out throughout the preseason, but he had like 4 picks in 5 or 6 games. After that point, he has been trash in coverage. And I hate it. And I know Abdullah hates it the most because he is a Virginia Tech Hokie, but
it sucks.
we're paying him a lot of money, right?
Oh, Landon Collins.
I think it's time to move him. I'm move him to a different position. Like move him out the slot is what I'm trying to say.
Maybe move him to free safety over Bobby McCain, who I'm not a fan of.
I feel like he can still work as a free safety. It's just like he's not the answer a slot corner no more.
Yeah.
Go ahead, bro. Are we gonna talk about Landon Collins? Do you guys think that?
I don't think. I mean, what is there more to say? Like, we're paying him way too much. He should be cut after this season. I think we can cut him. That's it. Like there isn't really much.
I think this is the year where like we could cut him and like it won't, and like before like his salary goes. Yeah. But like the whole thing about that first play where Cordero Patterson broke his ankles, I saw another view of that play. That man was running from all the way across the field. So Cordero didn't really have to do much to get past.
Yeah, I didn't understand the play call.
So it's like that play I understand, but the rest of it,
Yeah. And the defense is just too talented to play like this. I think it has to be the scheme. I don't know if offenses know how to prevent. I don't know. It blows my mind how we're playing like this with this type of talent.
On that point,
somebody said on Friday, like toward the end of the week, that Washington's defense like wasn't disguising enough. So like opposing teams just came up and knew exactly what was coming at them, so they knew how to like get around it. I feel like that's what's going on. I feel like that's what's going on.
I can't. This was probably like, I know this game was a crazy game, but this was probably the most frustrating part of the game for me. 3rd and 5s. 3rd and 6s, 3rd and 7s, 3rd and 3s. We played off coverage like several times, way more than where the sticks were. So they were easy completions. Like all you have to do is run a slant pattern, right? The receiver was there for the Falcons every single time. Easy first time conversion. I don't understand that. I really don't understand that. That frustrated me so much. Even somebody on Twitter highlighted it. This was after I was already getting mad about it, but I got even more mad seeing the clip that was cut up on Twitter. Like, I just don't understand that. 3rd and 3, why are you playing off coverage 10, 11, 12 yards? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Like, obviously, we're not defensive coaches, right? Jack Del Rio, Ron Rivera, they have way more defensive expertise. But, I mean, I just don't understand it. I don't understand. We've seen this for several games now, right? This hasn't been just like an Atlanta Falcons game thing. Like, this has been going on for way too long, in my opinion. And I think that's costing our defense, especially our secondary, a lot of yardage and then ultimately a lot of points. And against the better offense, guys, we played the Atlanta Falcons this week. Last week, okay, the Bills, great offense. The week before that, the Giants. And then the Chargers, who I feel like been super inconsistent too, because against the Cowboys, they didn't look too hot. But against us, of course, they kind of did. So,
LA, I kind of trust, though. LA, I trust the quarterback because they've been consistent on defense. It's just offense where they struggle, specifically like late drives.
My point is, though, we have the Packers coming up. We have the Kansas City Chiefs coming up. The Broncos, not the best of offenses, but they've still played pretty well to start the season. I think they've been outperforming expectations. Teddy Bridgewater, Cortland Sutton, and all those guys out there in Denver. Who else? We have Seattle coming up.
The Bucks.
I didn't even mention the reigning Super Bowl champions we have coming up. I mean, the Saints, off and on again, super inconsistent. We don't know what they are really. But guys, we haven't even played the best offenses on the schedule yet, and we're already looking like trash. If this defense doesn't get right sooner rather than later, this might be a lost season before we can even think about playoffs or NFC East division hopes. Like, this is unacceptable, like absolutely unacceptable. And again, I'm not one of those people who falls like for the hype when it comes to this team, right? I don't even like to consider myself, maybe Evan might think a different way. I don't even like to consider myself like super like pessimistic. I'm realistic when it comes to this team. There's a lot of hype even going to this week. Oh, Washington's defense, this is the get right game. Chase Young is going to have a sack. or a couple sacks, not one. To be fair with Evan, I thought that he was going to have a sack too, but a couple.
And he
sacks.
should have
an All-Star game. Yes, he should have. Montez Sweat should have would have had like a couple sacks. The secondary would not have looked as bad. Like a lot of people said this going in, and even the coaches were like, you know what? Trust. Oh, Cole Holcomb. I think it was Cole Holcomb who was like, we got this. Like, relax, right? The whole old Aaron Rodgers thing. And they put up this performance. Like, that's unacceptable, guys.
It is. Nice.
Appreciate Austin in sports. Before you guys chime in, guys, I do want to shout out the chat because we have not done that throughout this stream. Nicole Williams, Adriana Ledge, Brandon Williams, Samuel, Teron Herring, Hawk TV, always there, of course. 3-time Super Bowl champ Skins. Tone, of course, Jared Sports Takes. Skins fan all day, great content creator. A lot of these people are great content creators. Go check them out. That was cool. Cowboys mixtapes. Speaking of, I'm nervous about the Cowboys.
Oh,
this was the game. This was the game where I was like, if
I
they beat
honestly
the
have not
Panthers,
thought about them.
if they beat the Panthers, which I said
honestly-
going to this game, the Panthers are a very good team. I don't care what anybody says. Like, of course, a lot of people say 3-0. The Carolina Panthers are going to fall off. No, the Panthers are a very good team, even without Christian McCaffrey. Their defense, top in the league.
Yeah.
Top in the league right now when it comes to stats. Top in the league. Kind of like ours last year, if we're going to be honest, right? Looks like kind of fluky, but when it comes to the stats, they're top of the league. I'm worried about the Cowboys. This is my official being worried about the Cowboys moment.
It was nice seeing Curtis Samuel, though. I was happy to see him out there.
It was.
True.
It was really nice
Great
to see
point.
that.
Couple good conversions. Yeah.
But the one play where the referee blew the whistle, that was a fumble. I thought Cole
That
Holcomb
was definitely a fumble.
it
It was definitely a fumble.
so frustrating. So frustrating. And then when Terry, I thought that was a fumble at the end of the game. I really thought the game was going to be over.
Really? He needed to make a couple more
didn't.
steps. I did not think that.
I didn't think it was a fumble in real time or on replay.
I just thought,
same.
like, if the refs want to screw us again,
It was like they review it just to be sure, but I ain't think it was a fumble.
Yeah.
But
But yeah, so I guess just moving forward, let me check my notes if I missed anything. Terrible play calling by Scott Turner to start the game. There were a couple plays, third downs, where the quarterback threw passes 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage, never worked. Third down and long defense is still trash. We make 3rd and 11, like I said on Twitter, look like 3rd and 3 for most teams. What else? Linebacker core is still not looking strong. Jamin Davis look all right, but linebacker group is still I wouldn't even say they're the weak point of this team anymore. I think the secondary.
I think it's a secondary.
Yeah, I think the secondary is a weak point at this point. But yeah, I think that's it in terms of my notes. So moving forward, we got the New Orleans Saints next week. I think Abdullah will have the post-game reaction. If not, both of you guys can work that out. But I won't be because I got a big exam coming up next Sunday. But thoughts on the Saints? Like, do you think this team stands a chance against the New Orleans Saints, who, let me check the score again, 27-21. They lost the Giants in overtime, though. In New Orleans. Made the Giants offense look like they were that, but we did the same. What are your thoughts on this team and going up against New Orleans next week?
Well, honestly, like I said, it's really 50-50 because I really don't know what to expect from the Saints. Like, I don't really know what else, like, what more I can say about this matchup.
Yeah.
The defense just needs to play as a whole group, and if they can't do that, it's probably going to be a long game next week.
Yeah, I was mad too, Sam. I think we all were. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more. We're not going to get a score prediction or anything. We'll talk a little bit more about the matchup upcoming. But yeah, I'm a little nervous. I think the Saints look much more beatable than they were a couple of weeks ago, which is nice. But again, we are the Washington football team. We give up a lot of points to mediocre quarterbacks, right? I mean, I don't know. I feel like next week Alvin Kamara could have a monster game against us, if we're going to be honest. Not just as a run guy, but also as a guy out of the backfield catching passes, which we're not going to do a good job of containing.
I can see Taysom Hill going off too.
Oh my gosh!
Speaking of Taysom Hill, did you see that touchdown he had against the Giants?
Oh my! They
you
showed the
saw
replay during our
tackle
game,
was
right?
bad. Did you see that touchdown?
Oh my! That was like 5-6 missed tackles. That first touchdown run he had.
Broke through the hole.
Jeez, bro.
Oh my! I remember saying to myself, "Oh my Giants!" Like, and that was in the middle of us. Like, I think we were losing by 10 or something. So I was mad about us, but like, I was like, I stopped for a moment and was like, "Wow, what?" Yeah. But I think that's
You know
it.
what happened last time Jameis Winston came to FedEx Field?
Oh yeah.
The man had a 24-point lead and lost.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
That was a long time ago, though.
I can't believe it's already been a quarter of the season. 4 weeks already done.
Well, a little bit less than a quarter now. It's 17. But yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Forgot about that.
But yeah, Evan posed this like before the stream. I think it's a good question. To sign off, who is your MVP or your Washington football team MVP from today's game?
I gotta give it to Terry. Like it's close. I feel like he just edges out J.D. McKissick, but I feel like it's Terry mainly because the Falcons had no answer for him. Like I swear they threw like 2-3 different coverages and nothing worked against Terry.
Yeah.
That
Like,
second
really
touchdown, he got held. By the way, sorry about that.
Mm.
That second touchdown, he was getting held.
Yeah, he was, and still scored. That's the crazy thing. That's the crazy thing. Atlanta could not check this man.
Could not.
Yeah. Cool.
I gotta give it to Taylor, man. As much as I love Terry, Taylor yet again just delivering when it matters, when playing in front of his home crowd, and I'm pretty sure he was really emotional in his post game interview, and just seeing this man, the stud from ODU, just delivering week in week with that defense not playing as well as we expect him to, just finds a way to do it, man.
Yeah, definitely have to give Heineke his props for today. But again, I thought he was a little bit too inconsistent for me. Terry McLaurin, again, I put on his jersey right before a stream, and it is a jersey with the old name. So I talked to Evan about this. I think it's gonna be worth a lot one day. But man, two touchdowns, 6 receptions, 123 yards, like I said earlier. Just made monster play after monster play. Was always there, open for Taylor Heineke to throw him the ball. And I think he could have even had a more monster game, to be honest. Taylor Heineke found him along the sideline, one of those plays where it was almost a pick because he threw it too late. And there were a couple other plays as well. But yeah, I got to go with Terry McLaurin. I think this game solidified his place as a top 10 receiver, in my opinion, in this league. And next week, though, he has Marshawn Lattimore going up against him. We'll see how he does. But yeah, I think Terry McLaurin, like Evan said, just edged out J.D. McKissick in this one. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. We're going to keep this relatively short for you guys, so you guys can watch the replay if you didn't see it live. But yeah, this has been your DMV Sports Zone reaction, your must-see DMV reaction to the Washington versus Atlanta game. Washington win against Atlanta 34-30. It's a crazy game. I mean, all of our blood pressures were sky high during this one. And by the end of the day, like I said over Twitter, a win is a win, especially when it's a must win. So see you guys throughout the week. We had a lot of content coming up. Noah has fantasy content. Evan with his great videos every single week. Abdullah with his previews. And I got the live stream. And I think Abdullah and Evan, or one of those two, have the recap for next week's game. But thank you guys so much for watching. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to DMV Sports Zone channel. We try to post fire content on here as much as possible. Also, go follow our Instagram page, all lowercase DMV Sports Zone, and our Twitter page, as I mentioned several times throughout this stream, at DMV Sports Zone. Post great content on there as well. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and peace.